On the record, State versus Bundy, State versus Schmidt. The jury is present and accounted for. Parties are present. The attorneys are present. Mr. Bundy, just remind you, you're still under oath. And counsel, I believe you are conducting cross-examination. You may continue.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Mr. Bundy.
Good morning, Ms. Wells.
I'd like to have a marshal. I apologize for not giving you a heads up. And turn around to Exhibit 9 so that Mr. Bundy can access it. Mr. Bundy, I'd like you to mark with an X the area that you were arrested on August 25th, 2020.
Pretty close to this X right here.
Now I would like you to indicate with an X the troopers that surrounded you when you were arrested. Take as many X's as you need and please use a different color. Maybe not orange because orange was our other defendant or person that was
Do
arrested.
you want me to say how many were there, or
I want-
just indicate that they were around?
I want you to mark an X to represent every trooper that surrounded you when you were arrested. Not in the whole room.
To the best of my knowledge, is that
Yes.
Everything is to the best of your knowledge, yes. Thank you. It looks like they were surrounding you, correct?
right?
They weren't about to let you get up and leave, were they?
Depends on at what point.
If you had communicated that you wanted to leave the room, would they have let you leave the room?
At this point,
Yes.
when they were, I don't know, being there, like, I mean, I don't know. They said I was under arrest, so I would assume that I would not be able to get up and leave at that point.
And you weren't making any attempts to do so, were you?
No.
Because as we've discussed many, many times, you weren't doing anything. Correct?
That's correct.
Kind of just went heavy.
I did. Yep.
It's a good term to describe it, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I
When they were surrounding you, which direction were you facing? Please put an arrow. Were you sitting in a roller chair when they first surrounded you?
no.
They had to retrieve one
Yes.
and they had to lift you in it, correct?
Correct.
Can you estimate how long it took them to retrieve the wheelie chair?
I'm going to show you a little bit here.
No, I just want time. We're talking time.
There was one
No, I
right-
don't want you to show me. I want you to tell me how much time passed, in the best of your knowledge and estimate, it took them to retrieve the wheelie chair.
30 seconds.
30 seconds. How much time estimate did it take them to lift you in the wheelie chair?
Maybe another 10, 20 seconds, probably.
10, 20 seconds. How much do you weigh?
225 pounds.
How many troopers did it take to move you into the wheelie chair?
2.
And it took them 10 to 20 seconds.
Yeah, they had the chair.
Yes or no?
They had the chair.
Yes
right
or
now.
no? Did it take them 10 to 20 seconds?
I have no obligation to answer yes or no.
Actually, Your Honor, Thank you.
I'm directing you to do so.
This is the time for you to answer questions.
I understand that, but I
Thank
have
you.
not, I made
I
an
do not
oath
want
to
you to
the
speak
whole truth.
unless,
Stop,
Sorry.
both of you. I will not allow further argument. You ask them, you answer them, and I set boundaries. That's how it works.
Yes,
You
sir.
may restate your question.
thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Bundy, until they moved you in the wheelie chair, what direction were you facing?
I was facing the back of the, or I guess that would be the front of the Lincoln Auditorium.
And that entire time, you were surrounded by troopers, correct?
Correct.
Shoulder to shoulder?
No, there was movement, so no.
I'd like you to take the green X and mark the doorway where Jill Watts had contact with law enforcement. Thank you. You may sit down. So based on the fact that you were seated in that chair facing forward and you just testified that you weren't moving, you didn't ever turn around, did you?
They turned me once
Once you were in the wheelie chair?
I was in the chair.
But
and,
before that, you did not turn around, did you?
I looked around the room several times.
I thought you said you went heavy,
No, you said that.
and you agreed with me. You said that was a good term to describe it.
Yeah, I think it was
So
I'm
you did go heavy.
225
Did you go
pounds.
heavy, yes or no?
not under the, no,
Yes
not
or
really.
no?
You understand the question?
I don't understand the question.
We're back at something we've already talked about. Did you go heavy in the chair?
I'm going to object.
Would you-
Can we get specific as to the timing?
Overruled. I think she just did by asking in the chair.
Would you explain to me what you mean by heavy?
I thought you just told the judge that you understood my question.
I understood the verbal part of your question. I don't understand what definition you're trying to put
Okay, we're going
on
to move
heavy.
on. Stop speaking. Would it surprise you that in that video that your attorney introduced and was also introduced as State's Exhibit 2, that at 2 minutes and 24 seconds into that video, you are seen facing forward, surrounded by troopers? Would that surprise you?
No.
Okay. And would it surprise you that the video with Jill Watts contacting law enforcement is only 9 seconds later?
No.
Have you signed a contract to rent any part of the Lincoln Auditorium ever?
No, I don't believe so.
When we watched State's Exhibit 2, that's the video that I was referring to before, and also the video that your defense counsel introduced, almost identical. Did you see Aaron Von Schmidt in that room?
Would you rephrase the question or restate it again?
Sure. In the video that we watched where Sergeant Higley comes in and says, by order of the Speaker of the House, and then the troopers are there. Do you know which video I'm talking about?
Not exactly. I mean, I know you've seen that video, so there's
So
multiple.
you do or do not know which video I'm talking about?
Explain it if you would just a little bit, and then I think I could say
Okay.
yes. Yeah, I just want to make sure it's the right video. So.
I'll just repeat what I just said. The video where Sergeant Higley comes to the front of the room and says, by order of the Speaker of the House, depart immediately or face arrest, or something to that effect, that video. And then we see the ensuing events. Do you know which video I'm talking about?
Yes, I believe so.
Did you see Mr. Aaron Von Schmidt in that video? Yes or no?
Question, if you saw him ever in the video? Is that what-
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you ever see him appear on the screen in that video? Yes or no?
Can I just ask a question to clarify? Or
I'm asking the questions.
You can ask her to restate, Or if you don't understand, you can tell council you don't understand the question.
I don't fully understand the
Okay,
question.
that's fine. So on the afternoon of August 24th, you were able to provide uninterrupted testimony to Chairman Cheney, correct?
Yes,
Were you registered to vote in the state of Idaho in August of 2020?
no,
Are you registered to vote in the state of Idaho today?
no.
I have no further questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Redirect.
I know it seems like a little while ago, but yesterday you were asked if Sergeant Higley could have asked you or said anything to you that would have prompted you to leave, correct?
Correct.
What could Sergeant Higley have said to you that would have prompted you to leave?
Well, as I said when I was sitting there, that I would leave if my wife asked me to come home. And so he could have said that. He could have said, you know, I got a message from your wife and she says you need to come home. Or he could have come in and said, you know, you have a right to be here till 7 o'clock. After 7 o'clock, you got to go. And I would have understood that and I would have made my decision then. I would have left.
To be clear, you would have left at 7 o'clock.
I would have left at 7 o'clock or before because that was my plan.
You have other places to be.
Yeah, I have a family that needs to be taken care of, and I need to do that. So that's what I would have done.
You just gave a little testimony about, when you were arrested, and there was some talk of going heavy. Had you heard that term before today?
No, not in that phrase.
When you were arrested, did you kick or yell?
No,
Did you cause any ruckus whatsoever?
no,
Did you go passively?
yes.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mr. Bundy,
Yes,
you feel calm when Mr. Bishop asks you questions.
Objection relevance?
Sustained.
Do you feel that I was meaning to lie to the officers?
Objection relevance and speculation?
Sustained.
Who was wheeled out to the vehicles first after you're arrested?
Objection, how is this relevant to Mr. Von Schmidt's case?
Overruled. I'll allow him to tie it up. You may answer the question.
I know that we went up to the elevator, in the elevator together. And then we went through some rooms and some back rooms.
Objection, this answer is non-responsive to the question asked. Who went first?
Grant the request to strike relative to going through the rooms. I'll allow the testimony with regard to riding the elevator because I don't know whether he was in the chair or not. You can elaborate on that.
Do you recall being wheeled out to the elevator first?
Yes,
Was that before I was arrested? I'm sorry, let me rephrase the question. So, are you stating that you were wheeled out before to the elevator before Jill Watts or me. Is that correct?
Objection leading.
Overruled.
Was Jill Watts and me?
You have to answer the question first. I just overruled you.
So I was willed out and you and Jill were standing next, standing there along the wall on it would be the east side of the Lincoln Auditorium. You both were standing there as I was willed out and into the back east corner door. And then I think you guys came right behind me after that.
Do you recall one of the officers throwing one of the chairs in that room?
Yes.
Do you recall where the officer threw that chair?
Objection relevant.
Where are you going with this?
Just trying to establish that the officers were a little aggressive at that arrest at that point. Well, some of them were, not all of them, but there's a couple that showed some aggression when they went to arrest Mr. Bundy.
Objection, Your Honor. No, that's relevant to Mr. Von Schmidt's trespass.
When we were taken out to the police cars, who was taken out to the police cars first? Do you recall?
I believe I was, but I can't be 100% sure. I know that they separated it.
Please answer the question.
Overruled. He may explain his answer.
I know that they, after we went up the elevator and through a few things, that they separated us, and you guys were behind, and I don't know what they did with you after that. I went first, and then you guys were behind. That's all I know.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Recross.
None.
Thank you, Mr. Bundy. You may return to your seat. Counsel, any additional witnesses on behalf of Mr. Bundy at this time?
Not at this time.
Ladies and gentlemen, sorry to do this, but I need to take up some matters outside your presence, so I will put you back in the jury room. Please not discuss the case with anyone or each other, including each other, and please not form any opinion as to the merits.
All rise.